All right, so I'm going to do some of the ones that are a little harder. I'm just going to do a few from practice B and hope that that sets you up well enough for anything you might try on practice C. So we're still following the same rules here. The 6 belongs to the 3 and the 6 belongs to the S. So when I raise a power to a power, I multiply. So that's 3 squared times 6. That's S. I don't like S's. 3 times 6. So that's 3 to the 12th, S to the 18th. Raise a power to a power, you multiply. What's going on here? Remember, we can multiply in whatever order we want. So I can do the y's, multiply the y's together, and then I can multiply the z's together. And what do? We add exponents. So that's a y to the first, and that's a z to the negative 3. And what does that really mean? As soon as we have negative exponents, we have to think about numerator. The y has a positive exponent, so that belongs in the numerator. The z has a negative exponent, so that belongs in the denominator. And notice, once right now, they're both in the numerator. So once I move this guy to the denominator, the exponent becomes positive. All this is telling me is move it to the denominator. Once you've moved it, now it's a positive exponent. Because if you left it negative, then that would mean move it back. And then if you left it negative, that'd mean move it back. And that would be confusing. So this just means move it. Once you've moved it, you're done. All right, so what do we have going on here? A few ways to think about this. It'd be a 7 to the negative 2, a c to the multiply, negative 14, a d to the negative 4. What does that mean? All of these guys are in the denominator. So my 7 squared is in the denominator, my c to the 14th is in the denominator, my d to the 4th is in the denominator. How's Viv going to look at this? Well, here's how I might look at this. I've got my x to the 1, x to the 5th. Those are both positive, so I'm going to leave them where they are. This y to the 8th comes down. That's what that negative is telling me. This y to the 6th goes up. That's what that's negative is telling me. Move my place in the fraction. And then when I do that, I have 1x on the top, 5x's on the bottom. When they cancel, I'm going to be left with 4 on the bottom. I have 6y's on the top, 8y's on the bottom. I'm going to be left with 2y's on the bottom once they cancel. Now you could do the subtraction bit. This is x to the 1 minus 5, right? 1 minus 5. This is y to the negative 8 minus a negative 6. I'm just not a big fan of the minus minus. And then we still have negatives. So I'm going to have an x to the negative 4th. Then I'm going to have a y to the negative 8 plus 6 is negative 2, which again means which means these belong in the denominator. I kind of like just saying this guy belongs in the denominator, this guy belongs in the numerator, and then thinking about that idea of canceling, right? If I have, 4y's in the top and 6y's in the bottom, 4 of them cancel, and I'm left with an extra in the bottom. So if I have 6y's on the top, 8y's on the bottom, I'm going to be left with 2 extra on the bottom. So by the same token, what happens here? 12 over 21, we should be able to reduce. They're both divisible by 3. 4 over 7. This a squared stays where it is. 3 more are going to join it. So I'm going to have an a to the 5th on the bottom, right? All these guys are going to go down there. And then all these guys are going to go up here. So I'm going to have 14 b's in the numerator. There's 9 already there. These 5 are going to come up. So there's 14. And then, there was one more sort of word problem. Just substituting an x in. Here's a formula of the volume of a cone is 1/3 pi r squared h. Write it in terms of x. So the volume is still 1/3 pi. My radius is 2x. So I need to square that entire thing. The radius gets squared. And then I multiply by the height, x squared. So I start to simplify. That belongs to that. That's a 4. That belongs to that. That's an x squared. This is still an x squared. So I'm going to do these two together first. So 4 over 1 times 1 over 3 is 4/3. There's my pi, and x squared times an x squared is an x to the 4th. So give that a try. Good stuff.